Okay, so hello and welcome to our focus group. We're just going to be asking you a few questions. Feel free to shout out your answer at any point, or we'll either do that or just go around in a circle. Okay, so your first question, what is your favourite film? It could be one of these on show here, or it could be one of your own choice. It doesn't matter.
I do like a good old bit of Frozen.
I like Delivery Man. Les Mis. Les Mis.
Okay, we'll go around in a circle. Dom, what's your favourite?
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Ellie?
Les Mis. Les Mis.
Chloe?
Love Actually.
Bruce?
Thor.
Jared?
Frozen.
Delivery Man.
Green Street.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so for you, what makes a good film?
Story.
So the storyline, like plot, all that sort of stuff, yeah?
Yeah, making sure that it runs in a smooth way, sort of, that it follows on from previous stuff.
Okay,
Makes
so,
sense.
okay.
Good actor/actress's choice, like they fit their characters well.
If there's animals in it.
Yeah, no, really.
Where it doesn't like drag on, so it's quite short to the point. I think you understand what's happening.
Okay, so simple storyline.
And it's not cliched either.
If animals are in it.
Okay, Jared, thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Adam?
Storyline.
Okay, so what crime films have you seen, and what did you like about them?
The
Again,
Godfather.
let's down on the board.
The Dark Knight, and I liked the gritty realism of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've watched any of them either. I
Have
don't.
you watched any other crime films? They don't have to be those, just...
I don't think so. Or I might have.
I like The Godfather.
Okay, what do you like about it, specifically?
Well, the facial images, it just makes them look suspicious.
Okay, so camera work, characters and actors, yeah?
Indeed.
You think they're important, and...
They are.
Okay. Anybody else?
Double shuttle once.
Do crimes films interest you, and why?
Yes.
No.
Quite really.
I don't know.
Because there's a build-up of tension throughout the whole film, which makes it more watchable.
Okay, so put your hand up if you think no.
I don't know. I like Yeah, it.
Well, it
I don't
depends
know.
really on the storyline, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends if it's got my favourite actor in it or not.
Okay.
So,
Adam, why don't they interest you?
Boring.
Boring. Okay. Okay, so who does enjoy it? Jared?
Because it builds tension and it makes it more intriguing and interesting.
Okay, so you like following like a certain story and finding what happens in the end. Is that what you're?
Yes.
Okay, so you like sort of a film that makes you think about things.
Yes.
Well done, Jared.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you think a crime film has to involve violence to be effective?
no.
To a certain extent, like it hasn't got to be like really gory, but I think it
There's a
should have
knife.
some sort of violence in it.
So what sort of violence, what level of violence do you think would be acceptable for?
I don't know, like a fight or something, but not like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a really gory murder or something
Okay.
to be a crime film, because then it sort of strays into the horror.
And crime isn't just violence, so it could be
Like espionage.
It could just be like a car chase, but technically that is violence because cars can get hit.
Anybody else?
I think you should have a lot of violence. I want to see bodies massacred all over the floor. Boosh. Done.
Okay.
Cheers, Adam.
Okay, so what is more important? A complex and interesting, or simple and easy to follow storyline?
Complex and
crime?
interesting,
Why do you think that?
because it keeps you like engaged,
Yeah.
and then you want to find out what happens, so you keep watching.
Okay, but is there a certain line between having a very complicated and you can't understand it at all?
Yeah.
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 But it just drags on and you just don't know
Well,
what's
it's
happening.
like, there's complicated where it's like you have to wait until the end of the movie for it to be
Yeah,
revealed.
and there's
Or
loads
there's
of
like
unneeded
complicated
stuff.
where even after the movie you have to go research
Yeah.
and Google it, and that's not good.
Yeah, and there's
So-
loads of unneeded stuff you like have in it. You just they just lose interest and don't want to watch the film.
Okay, so do you like it when films they give you a plot, and it's only at the end of the story which you find out
Yeah.
what that means.
Yeah.
It's got to be like an intrigue.
Because
sort
then
of
you actually make it
plot
to the
there.
end of the film.
You get into the film.
Cheers, Jared.
I feel like it can be both, because you know you have like the simple and easy to follow aspect, but then you can have like the complex and interesting twists in between.
So you're talking about plot twists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you have too many characters, then it does get too confusing.
Yeah, because you didn't have enough time to develop all of them fully.
Okay, so Dave, do you want to talk them through our idea?
Chemistry guy.
Right. Basically, we decided the name of our film was going to be called Hunter. We decided this because this person's being hunted, and we thought Hunter, pretty self-explanatory.
Very good choice.
Cheers, Jared. Well, the premise of it is basically this guy, he's sort of almost like a vigilante killer kind of style. He's hunting people who have done something wrong, like killed someone or stole money, stuff like that. And he like stalks them, and our film opens with sorry. Our film opens with cheers, Jared. Our film opens with him like preparing for like this kill, basically. And that's short and skinny of our idea.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you some test footage, and I want you to tell me what you think of the scene, how it's set up, lighting, and things like that.
I just realised there's a shark up there.
Cheers, Rose.
Up on the speakers.
You've been here for like
Shark.
3 months and you haven't noticed that.
To be fair, I haven't noticed it. I've been here for the same amount of time.
Is that it?
No.
Was it
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry, Jared, don't worry. There's no sound, just in case anyone's wondering.
Was it meant to freeze like that before?
No, it's just jerky. PowerPoint boys. Cheers, Jared.
What is that?
It's a very long
This
change.
is so. Yeah, this is just mucking about with different like lighting effects. This isn't necessarily what's going to be in the actual film or not. This is just using candles for effect, basically.
Okay, so after watching this test footage of locations, do you think the setting looks appropriate for a crime film?
Yeah, it does.
It does, but it's a bit too dark. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
you
don't
have to make
think
like
you-
faces or anything in that.
Okay, so
Where is it
More
actually set?
candles.
it's in a garage. It's like a.
Or candles.
It's basically there's a man, or the criminal, if you want to call him that, is sort of setting a character profile of the person who he's about to stalk or kill. So it's like it's intentionally dark, sort of, to give that sort of like an eerie look about it. It's not a crime scene where we're just going to go all guns blazing. It's sort of a mysterious sort of
Slow paced.
yeah.
I think the candles work, but it might have just been like the fact that the clips were just too like shaky when they ended up like being shown on that. So I definitely would say that maybe you need to be more fluid with the whole like lighting the candle. But that's just from that.
Yeah, that was just because I was the only person there at the time, and it was a bit hard to do both at the same time. So that's the reason why.
It was well paced because it didn't. Well, it wasn't rushed, and the idea of creating a slow-paced film is to build up more tension and it intrigues the viewer more.
Okay, so if you've seen some of those clips, would you instantly think it's a crime or it's a horror, or would that be?
It's a very dark kind of like.
So you can clearly relate it to crime. Okay.
Something ominous about it.
Good word, Dominic.
Okay, so after watching the test footage, would you be interested in watching the rest of the film?
Yeah,
I reckon I would.
Yeah.
Me.
I would have to see more, but that's just because like when you actually see trailers, you see a different variety, whereas that's just like little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just some test.
Yeah.
Do you have people that can act in it yet?
Yeah,
Just we didn't see them, so.
Is there any way you feel the scene could be improved by adding any elements on scene? Obviously, we will have characters in some of those shots.
Yeah, it just needs to be a bit brighter because you couldn't really make out what everything was.
Okay.
But then that kind of like links to the mystery bit of it. So you wouldn't want it like really light, 'cause otherwise it would like sort of
So you
step
want
away
it.
from the genre.
Yeah.
But
So you want it a bit brighter, but not too bright.
yeah,
But do you think?
Maybe more candles.
So do you think it's just adding a bit more lighting? Do you think that would
That would
defect?
help.
But would it defect from the scene which
It
I just
depends
set?
what kind of lighting you use. I think.
So not an artificial lighting again.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
adding
like
more candles.
candles.
Yeah,
Then
use
it
more
illuminates
candles.
it more.
Put some in.
Plus also then it builds in with the thing of someone being, was it being stalked?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then it builds in that as sort of like a bit of fun.
Okay.
Have lighters, have people in the background with lighters.
Just
I think that takes away from the-
It's a really depressing song.
Okay,
Start
so
singing it.
we're just going to show you a quick little clip from the opening of 7.
So we took our stimulus
I want
from.
you to,
Can you
At the end of it, I'm
describe
going-
what 7
Dave.
Basically, it's a crime film. The whole premise is this guy's killing people related to 7 deadly sins, and the opening ties into the whole film basically.
Okay.
So we're going to try and almost recreate a version of this, but in our own way, and have our own story to it.
Julie, Aaron's I was mentioning that.
It's a bit long.
Did it really?
Okay, so for some reason, only half of the clips were actually shown, as in half the screen, but there we go. So, what did you enjoy about this clip? What do you think was effective, and why?
The background music, because, I don't know, it wasn't just some scary, creepy music, it was just some, I don't know, yeah.
Okay, did you like the fact that it was quite fast paced? Do you think that worked well with?
No, I find it very disorientating.
Okay, so it was quite distracting from what you
Yeah.
were watching.
I think fewer like cuts would have been better, but it was a bit too jumpy.
So a slower pace of editing. Okay.
But the idea of it is good, I think.
Okay.
But what I'm thinking isn't what is happening in those opening things. You said you're gonna like kind of like mimic and take ideas from that, but isn't that what your opening is? So are you gonna be like having your titles?
What was this kid on?
Without.
It's our stimulus rather than we're just using that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what we're planning to do with our titles, our titles are going to be directly built into the scene.
Okay.
So instead of having them edited over the top on the software, they're literally going to be
In the shot itself.
in the shot themselves.
Okay.
So the name of the book will be the title of
Okay.
our film, for example. Okay, so in a crime film, how important do you feel the stereotypical conventions of having a male crime offender and a female victim are, and why?
Well, if you had a female criminal, it'd just be a bit different. I guess it could make it more
Women are more like-
interesting.
Women are more like vulnerable to often being seen as being like the victim. So, because men are like more controlling.
Okay, so do you think it would look wrong or
Yeah,
incomplete to have both male victims and criminal?
Yeah.
Because if they're stalking them, I don't think a male stalker would stalk her.
It's like a vigilante sort of,
Oh, it's
like he's done
murder.
something.
Yeah, if
You-
it's not stalking as in like
The conventional stuff.
the
Creepy
conventional
stalking.
stalking, then I think it would work.
Right, okay. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, so what type of music is most effective in crime films and why?
Eerie, low, dark.
Intense.
Okay, so would it rather be based on the test footage you've seen, would you say a fast-paced or slower-paced music would
Depends
be
what
more
type of-
effective in the
Depends
test
what type
shots?
of shots you are
Yeah.
using.
If
Okay.
we're doing fast-paced like editing, then I think it should be relatively fast-paced.
Like the
So
example.
it like keeps up with it.
But with your one that you've done, it would be like, yeah,
Quite
quite slow
slow.
paced.
Okay.
Like aliens.
It also kind of depends on what the part of the story is, like in terms of where the music is going to be. Because if it is trying to build tension, then like a constant pace would probably be better.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like just building it up.
Is narration or speech important in the introduction of a film?
Not really. If it builds on the scene, then I don't think it's necessary.
It depends, because like if you are like introducing people to this, then I think it's needed. But if you are going to like explain it at one point, then it's not needed.
I don't think it's you're wanting people to guess. You don't want to give too much away, so
Yeah.
you don't say, you know, don't give any narration to what's happening, and it's left to people to think for themselves what's going to happen.
It kind of depends on how well the scene actually explains what's going on as well. Like obviously if it's really hard to follow, then you may need some
Right. So basically if the scene's set well and we film it well, then there's no need for
yeah.
any sort of more further input by voice.